moving on to our watch party. As you all probably know by now, we have concluded our Psycho-Pass watch party, and we held a vote. You guys voted to watch Fooly Cooly. Yeah, finally, Fooly Cooly. Been on the poll since the beginning of time. So, let's just start with episode 1. Niddle de Toro on the Facebook group says, "Welcome to the frantic world of Fooly Cooly, where coming-of-age story archetypes get smashed into a million pieces by a kick-butt, face-wielding chicks riding Vespas, and all the inner turmoil inherent to puberty can get resolved by fighting robots and aliens, because that's life, and that's how puberty should be." That is how puberty should be.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I agree with that. So what did you guys think?
There's a lot of symbolism in this show. The first time I watched the show, I was like, I had no idea what was going on.
Yep.
So people have done extensive analysis of this show. So everything actually has a meaning. Not everything is random. In fact, most things are very symbolic. So you'll see more of that as the show goes on. But this first episode, you're like, that lady just ran him over with a Vespa, screaming lunchtime, and has this guitar, and this kid has things coming out of his head, and his brother's ex-girlfriend is trying to make out with him and he doesn't know how to feel. There's a lot going on in this first
like
episode.
A normal day in the life. I don't know.
Yeah, but I love how he keeps insisting, yep, nothing's happening here. This is perfectly normal. Because he wants to be the one adult in his life that's responsible, because if you see his family, especially his dad, who's really immature and kind of creepy to me.
Yeah, no, he's super creepy.
That whole manga scene, which was really significant about the name Fooly Cooly and had a lot of sexual euphemisms. That was intense. It was interesting that I decided to take the manga form, which is also probably deliberate. But Greg Garner says we first hear the phrase Fooly Cooly during one of the show's most iconic scenes, when the show suddenly shifts into a manga art style. The manga scene is all manic energy as the camera zips down and across a fictional page and the characters shout and over each other. Fooly Coolying is apparently a vaguely defined sexual act, but we never learn what it's supposed to be, which is appropriate considering it goes right over our main character, Naota's head as well. It went over my head at first. I was like, what is happening?
Do you think... Actually, I know the answer to this question is yes. I was just going to say, do you think like there's an Urban Dictionary account of what this act might be? There probably is, right?
I'm sure there is.
There has to be.
I almost looked it up, but I was afraid of what I'd come up with.
What Fooly Coolying is. I'm very curious. I don't know if I want to know.
Fooling around and Fooly Cooling each other. And then the Japanese word they keep using is yaru yaru, which is do it. So there was a lot of sexual overtones here.
I don't think I want to know.
That was interesting. Because the dad said that first about the whole
Yeah.
And then the grandpa's like Fooly Cooly, and then playing his hands on the table. I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah, I'm like, what is that?
Yeah, but anyway.
Right.
Fooly Cooly.
Brian, what do you think about this since you didn't watch Fooly Cooly?
How does this sound to you?
Sounds a lot like my puberty. You guys didn't fight robots when you were going through puberty?
Not that I remember.
Oh, it's just me then. All right. Okay.
I wish. I was like studying algebra or something boring.
Tyler DeBoer.
Yeah.
Tyler DeBoer here says, during the manga sequence, the responses Haruko gives to Naoto's father's statements might seem random, but really each is a play on words that deal with the Japanese way of saying things and what doesn't fully work. For instance, in Japanese, there is no TH sound. This will be relevant a little later. One aspect of the show that's great is the music. Japanese band The Pillows performs almost every song in the series. The great sound and energy really adds to the quirkiness of the show while adding ambience to other scenes. Fooly Cooly has also had a wide impact on animation. One example was Avatar: The Last Airbender. When making the show, the creators told the staff to go watch Fooly Cooly. Also, what other shows do you know where you use guitars to fight robots? That's true.
You use guitars to fight the man in School of Rock, a movie that I have memorized.
I'm trying to think.
So tired.
I love these movie references.
It's a great movie, by the way.
It's a phenomenal movie.
One of the few movies that don't get old the more you watch it.
Yeah. I have a lot of that movie memorized, so if you ever want to know about that, which you don't, you can contact me personally.
On episode 2.
Blaine Taylor in email, which again is IGN_Anime Club at IGN.com, says, the second episode explores Mamimi's background and the decision Naota makes to stay by her side forever. Though through glimpses of her childhood, we find that Mamimi is looking for someone to save her from her feelings of loneliness and depression. Same. Naota cannot hold in his conflicting emotions after learning about Mamimi's inner turmoil, and another robot comes out of his head. I like if you don't know what this is about, that is just the most bizarre sentence. While protecting Mamimi from said robot, the adult logo shows up on Conti's face again. Oh my gosh, my eyes are not working and everything's bad. Once again, the tides of the battle turn in their favor. As the fire trucks race towards them, Naota narrates, I asked myself what I could do for Mimi. I decided to stay by her side forever. Naota believes he is making the right decision to stay with a friend who is feeling abandoned, but as viewers, we are left to wonder if this is what Mimi wants and needs.
I like how she's an arsonist, like a straight up pyromancer. I'm just like, oh, this is a really bad kid for the protagonist to be hanging out with. Not only is that his brother's ex-girlfriend who's trying to use him as a substitute, but also she's lighting things on fire.
Yeah.
Yes.
I didn't catch any of this when I first watched this.
I know.
I'm like, what?
This is the kind of
girl's
thing,
crazy.
Like, this reminds me of when I tried to watch Paprika, but I was super tired, and I had
Oh, that's the
no
worst.
idea what was going on at all. I mean, generally, you're not supposed to have a totally coherent idea of what's going on, but I really did not know what was going on. I was so tired, and so that's sort of how I am with this right now, where I'm like, that's what happened.
Yeah, it
Yikes.
slowly unfolds as to what all this symbolism is. Like, what is with these robots? What do they mean? Why? What does Mamimi represent? Like, this whole arc doesn't really unfold till later, and even then you have to go back and watch it and be like, oh, now I see it. There's tons of symbolism, but the show hits you with it all at once. You're like, I don't know what's happening. I feel like I'm on some sort of weird acid trip.
Yeah. And the factory that looks kind of iron, like, what the hell's up with that?
Yeah,
People just accept it?
Apparently, it's a symbolism for industry and modernization after post-World War II. So say people who analyze the show.
Yeah, I mean, I do want to touch on that a little bit because the post-World War II narrative in Japan is so different from the post-World War II narrative in the West, specifically the U.S. So when you're thinking about that and when you're analyzing anything that's industry-related or modernity, you really have to take into account the narrative in Japan is so drastically different, and the narrative surrounding modernity is very much Western influence kind of slowly creeping in to Japan. There's I took a class on this, obviously. So I do find that really interesting because it's more than just a factory. Like it means a lot specifically in Japan. Then it's different than maybe how we would interpret it. So there's my thoughts.
There you go. Anyways, ever onward. So we have Kadir. I'm so sorry if I mispronounced your name. Gungor. Fully Cooley was a very sweet core message that has been told countless times in all forms of media aimed at kids, which is be yourself. Unlike any Disney productions, Fully Cooley doesn't just drop this message and scurry away immediately afterwards, but acknowledges the fact that being oneself is, more often than not, easier said than done. Fully Cooley encourages young people to muster the courage and strength to be faithful to their own principles and values in the world that, if we're being honest, isn't as less crazy and scary than the world depicted in Fully Cooley. These themes of identity, self-acceptance, and self-discovery are being drowned by an abundance of insane action that after the first viewing one rarely fully understands what the heck is actually going on in Fully Cooley. Simultaneously, one can't shake the feeling that Fully Cooley understands us and our adolescent self on a very profound level, knowing what we went through or are going through during this weird, effed up and nonsensical time in our lives known as puberty.
So this comment really reminds me of this post I saw, I think on Tumblr or something, where it was like, my parents, just be yourself. And then it was like, me is myself. And then it was like, my parents. No, not like that.
Yeah.
And I feel like that happens a lot to kind of, especially, I know we as in the club as a whole has talked about this as far as like being like the weird kid who liked anime or whatever, and like your parents or your friends not really knowing or understanding what it is. And I'm very fortunate that my parents are pretty understanding. But like for a lot of us, being yourself is like, oh, that's the creepy kid. Don't do that. Don't.
Yeah,
not
especially
like that.
during puberty when there's a lot of social pressure because you actually are more influenced by your peers than your family. They've had studies about that. And so there's a lot of awkwardness of trying to fit in. And that's what makes Naota. Sorry. I'm tired too, so I'm like, I'm talking about the weird kid with the horn on his head.
Yeah.
That there, Naruto.
Yes.
Naruto.
Yeah, Naruto.
Naruto.
Just the fact that he's trying to be the mature one, and that will be a huge important point of the narrative, which is finding yourself and who you are. And it's okay to sometimes be a kid. You're going through this awkward phase between childhood and adult, and finding that balance is super important.
Some of us had that phase where we put eyeliner all the way around our eyes and wore cat collars. Some of us had that phase, and it's okay.
Brian's raising his hand.
Nice.
That was very
Gotta bring
courageous
that
of you
back.
to share that. Yes, I want
I
pictures.
just don't do it at work.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's okay.
I
We should hang out more.
Your
I
your side
painted-
jobs are not my business.
literally this weekend I painted my nails the closest color to black that I have. So I'm
It's
still.
like this lovely plum color, actually.
It's called Wicked, so it's pretty cool, and I'm
Nice.
still emo on the inside. It's great. I'm just like a refined version of it, and that is what they mean by being yourself, I think.
All right, well, there you go.
Wisdom from me after no sleep.
Just be yourselves, kids.
There you go.
That's the moral of the story.
The cool thing about IGN Anime Club is that you can be yourself, and people understand what the heck you're saying.
Yes, this weekend someone was like thinking, I'm gonna maybe leave the club. I don't feel like anyone likes what I like, and I haven't caught up with anything. And I wrote back like, everyone is welcome in our club. We have so many members who are loving and supportive. So this goes to everyone who's listening and watching. If you post a couple times, you only get a couple posts back, don't worry. People will start to learn more about you and what you love. There's always going to be that one other person who loves whatever you love in the group. Anime-wise, there's no judgment. There's no wrong answer. Oh, no, you like Fooly Cooly? Well, you suck. Or you like Keijo? You suck. Or you like Dragon Ball? You suck. Like, we don't allow negativity in our club at all. Everyone is welcome, and we hope that everyone stays and enjoys the club and participates because you guys are really
Yeah.
awesome. We are
They're doing cool stuff in the group too.
Yeah, they're doing
Gosh.
really cool stuff. Like
Yeah.
they're taking their own initiatives, which is really, really cute.
Yeah, there's some AMAs going on. It's
Yeah.
really cute. Oh, and like people's like guess who my husbando is, which now I really want to try.
Yes.
Although I've told you all of mine, so you all know.
And there's a thread about where everyone was from, and we have a very international audience. We have people in, Mexico. We have people in Pakistan. We have people in Israel. We have people in Italy, Germany. It's all over the world, and I'm so excited because I love that. I love world culture, so I'm like, yay, we're all united by anime.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah,
Anime is everywhere. # anime is everywhere.
believe it.